Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen, whatever it is you are watching from, and welcome back to the Legends World Challenge here on Infinity Broadcasting. I'm your commentator here this afternoon, Hamish Munro, as always, bringing you the action out here for some epic racing here in the Legends 34 Coupes. We're out at Winton this week for round 6, a magnificent circuit here in Victoria, Australia, one that holds a very special place in my heart. For my family's history of racing here. But tonight we focus on the racing at hand with the Legends cars rocketing around the national circuit here out at Winton. We'll give you a bit of a preview now, brought to you by Jay Kennedy of SimSpeed. Thank you to him for these images of the Winton Motor Raceway down here in Victoria. So we trickle our way down, we look up towards the Albury-Wodonga area of Victoria here in the north, sort of central area of Victoria, and then right on down into what is pretty much the middle of nowhere where this Winton circuit is. It is a magnificent little track. I have so much fun driving around here. It's a real rhythmic circuit. It can really challenge a lot of drivers, when they are not quite used to how the rhythm is around here, or not quite used to how to tackle this place. It can be quite difficult for drivers to really get their heads around it, of course. Located out in Benalla, we start on the main straight and head down towards turn 1 and 2 at the S's, which formerly on the old layout used to actually be the final 2 corners of this circuit. Very, very tough little section of track. You get hard on the brakes into that little section, trying to then wrestle your way through it, avoiding curbs as best as possible, because on the exit of 2, you have this big, big wall eyeing you up, and if you misalign the curb on exit, it can tear straight into the wall if you hook it up wrong. Then up towards turn 3, formerly turn 1 on the old layout, a little fast-paced corner. It's not known for getting overtakes done through here. It can happen at the best of times, but majority of the time it is quite difficult to get it done through there. Then downhill section down towards turn 4, a nice little fast right-hander. We'll see the cars dancing their way throughout the proceedings here this afternoon, up towards the long left of turn 5. Again, you're tiptoeing the car through there, trying to get it balanced and trying to get it up to speed for the fast yet real puckering a little run through turn 6 up towards the hard braking zone of turn 7 into the little triple section where the gum tree is for 7, 8 and 9, and then down towards turn 10, which formerly you would just run straight through on the old layout, but turn 10 you now turn left to go down the back straight into an actual, one of the good passing opportunities of this track. Turn 10 is one of them. Turn 11 is another under brakes into where the pit entry is, and then you come through that up through turn 12, and you've pretty much done the lap up the main straight once again. We've got a couple of chatters out there already. JJ saying tearing through the curves. Ash DeVries saying karma. Matt Livingston feeling I feel personally attacked. Represent. So we have so much on offer for you here this afternoon. 12 corners, 3 Ks or 1.8 miles if you're speaking in the old language. This layout's been used since 1997, of course. But we've got a little bit of practice to go, and then we're going to get into the racing action here for Winton. And I so look forward to seeing how these drivers are going to attempt it and how they're going to contest. We've got a couple of new boys out there who didn't race previously this season, including Wayne Shepherd, Shane Randall, and Robert Crow. We also have returning regulars of the series, Tyler Sheaf, Ash DeVries, Rod Morris, Jack Anderson, and Jordan Ferguson, as well as then the Portuguese sensation and Pedro Joao Soares back in the field after a nice little run out at Bathurst last week, getting onto the podium in the second race and getting the overall podium for that round as well. But practice is going to be over in just a couple of seconds here. Then we'll be getting into qualifying to see. Oh, Jaguar's saying love the skid pad. The skid pad, exceptional. And I hope we see our race winners from both races tonight use that skid pad to their advantage to get their, to get their expression session done, but also get their celebrations done out there as well. That is, obviously a nice little addition to this circuit, especially on iRacing. I'm glad that they allowed us to access the skid pad here at Winton, of course. But getting into qualifying in just a moment's notice, we'll see how these drivers are going to go on this Winton circuit in these cars. We know they are a bit of a handful, a bit of a wrestle. They were a bit of a wrestle out at Bathurst last week. We heard from some of the drivers as they get prepared for what could be quite a challenge here this afternoon in Winton, of course. As I mentioned, it is a real arm wrestle, this track, and it's not one that you can take lightly, for sure. It's one that you need to, again, learn the little tricks of the trade of doing laps around here and getting up to pace around this track. It's very, very hard to get, like, you can get down to a super, super quick time, but then it's super hard to find, even a tenth of pace or even 2/10 of pace. It can really test a lot of drivers. We'll see how it is going to test them here this afternoon as they start to come out of the pits for qualifying, to start their qualifying laps here. We'll see how they go. Tyler Sheaf back in the field after a week away. Also went to the football last week. Didn't really pay out very well for him. His team got absolutely hammered by the Blues, so should have raced instead. Would have gotten himself some good points out at Bathurst, I'm sure. Oh, what's happened here? Everyone's disappeared for a second. There we go. We're back. Very, very good. So first times will be coming in very, very shortly as they will get their laps started, I'm sure. But Tyler with the Betty White machine in the number 8 car, looking to maximise this qualifying performance. I think if you can qualify far up the field, it will really benefit you with this circuit. It's quite tough to get overtakes done. It's very, very easy to defend at this track, but it really always leads to some great battles between cars. Jordan Ferguson, well, he's actually managed to get on track in qualifying this time by. See if his car has any similar issues to what he had last week at Bathurst, where he ended up dropping out right on the race start of race 2. Rod Morris, he's back in the field. We'll see how he goes here tonight as well. Wayne Shepherd, new to the field, known for driving in a supercar, former GT experience as well in the sim. Rocking the Golf livery this time by. So we'll see how the 313 does on track. Jack saying, first time I decided to set a lap before the last second. Well, we'll see how that pays off for you, Jackos, as Shepherd's just running a little bit wide there. Robert Crow, new into the field. He's out on circuit as well. The only one not out there, Shane Randall, which I believe he'll try and get in for the start of race 2. As the times are starting to come in, Pedro Joao sets the pace early on here with a 37.8, but I suspect these times, 37.6, sorry, but I suspect these times are going to come down quick and fast throughout the rest of qualifying as he makes an attempt at his next lap. Tyler Sheaf is on a purple sector in the first as well. So we'll see if he can string anything together here. Robert Crow gets in 37.8. Ferguson with a 52.9. So these are only opening lap times at the moment. They will come down as the laps start to come in. And Pedro Joao already going purple in the first sector. Sheafy had that fastest first sector, but he's just been pipped by the Portuguese international into the second sector. He comes now right on board with him. We'll see what this lap's going to look like from him here and how he's going to try and string things together. A green sector through the second. He'll try and go that a little bit quicker here through the third, hopefully into the final sector of this track. Comes down towards turn 10. Sheafy goes fastest in the third sector. Joao, can he string anything together here to try and pip Sheafy to pole position here early on in qualifying? Ferguson's on for a good time. He's got a couple of greens. Pedro cannot beat Tyler's time in the middle sector. Through the final couple of corners, he comes around now. Sheafy's going to cross the line first. He is going to set a 33.2 here in qualifying for his first lap. Joao is going to come across the line after him. Is he going to pip him here to pole position? He is. He goes 32.7, 5/10 faster. As Ferguson's now coming up towards the line to finish off his lap. We'll see if he can go any better. He's got no purples on the board at the moment, but it could be good enough to beat out the likes of Crow or Sheaf up ahead of him here. Crow's going to come across the line. We'll see what lap time he can pull together in qualifying in his first race in the Legends. He only goes 33.3 that time by, 1/10 off the back of Sheaf. Ferguson only manages a 35.0 on that last lap. Anderson, new colours on his car this weekend as he comes across the line, leading Ash DeVries down in the old faithful Family Guy car. Across the line comes Anderson, goes pole with a 32.74. DeVries goes P3 with a 33.06. But Joao he is absolutely answering the call here. He's seen the time on the board. He's gone 2 purples in the first 2 sectors. That pole position lap time from Jack Anderson may not stay for very long if Joao can get this lap completed. As he comes up towards turn 10 now, needs to keep it nice and clean through here, try and keep it on the road and limit those off tracks. That's one of the most important things around this place, limiting your off tracks, limiting your issues. Goes green in the third sector as he comes down towards the final 2 corners now of this Winton circuit. Still fastest in the third sector is Anderson. He's also the fastest in the fourth. as he comes round the final corner now, up towards the start-finish line. Is he going to pip pole from Anderson here as he comes across the line? He does indeed. He goes a 32.25. So pips Anderson by a whole 0.5 of a second. And he has answered the call on that one. It is still early doors, Jack Oz, as Livingston said that Pedro was a hell of a driver. Well, he's doing quite well in his first 2 outings so far. Of course, the P2 on the road in race 2 last week and getting him a P3 overall for last round, as Anderson looks to try and answer this lap time set by Joao Suar. But it's a lot of time to gain around this circuit. Half a second he has to try and find in his locker to pip him for pole position, as Sheafy's now gone fastest in the second sector, so he's found a little bit of pace. Anderson crosses the line, goes only 1/10 faster than his previous best of a 32.6 now, as Sheafy had the fastest middle sector, but he's actually just been pipped again by Pedro Joao Suar, so he is not willing to let anyone else have purple sectors in the first 2 at this point. He sees someone beat it, he must beat it himself, so he is really trying to fly high right now, trying to push hard to claim his first pole position of the season, as Sheafy comes round the final couple of corners now. Runs it slightly wide, but I don't think he copped the off track. He'll come down towards the line. It's going to be a better lap time for him. Is he going to be able to beat Ash de Vries, who is 1/100th of a second faster than him at this current time? Crosses the line, goes 32.7 into P3. De Vries has had to bring the car in. Joao Suar, is that second best sector going to help him? No, it's not. He goes 1/10 slower than his previous best. So all eyes now goes on Jack Anderson, who could possibly try and pip Joao Suar here for that pole position, as Sheafy's also had to bring his car into the pit lane. Ferguson, Crowe, Shepherd, Morris are all still out on track. Morris is really struggling for that lap time at the moment. But we'll see what Ando can do, as Joao Suar's had to bring it into the pits now. So that's his qualifying done and dusted. He's going to hope that his time is going to be good enough for pole position here, as Anderson is going to come down towards the line. Is he going to be able to pip the Portuguese International for pole position? Goes 32 dead in qualifying. He does it by 0.2 of a second. Absolutely exceptional efforts there from the Peugeot machine. Wart intensifies across that lap for the 31 car of Anderson. And the battle, it seems to be on here. The times are close. The pace is close. These drivers right now, I expect this could be one hell of a race here, folks. You know, not just race 1, not just race 2, but the whole round. If the times are this close and they're able to do these consistency lap after lap after lap, we know that the battles here can be intense, as Anderson runs it way wide at turn 5. We know the battles here can be intense, so we're going to see if they're going to be able to do any better than they currently have, as Crowey's actually gone fastest in the second, but he's going to get cut off. Livingston in the chat taking bets on how long it takes for De Vries to rear-end the Betty White car. We know what he's like around older women. Oh, that's exceptional, Livingston. Fantastic. I love to see it. So we'll get our starting grid up on screen for you now here for race number 1. Jack Anderson will start pole position ahead of Pedro Joao Suar out of P2 here this afternoon. Ash de Vries, Tyler Sheaf then line up on the second row of the grid. Not very much time between them at all, only 200ths between those lap times. Ferguson and Crowe then are together for the third row, with Rod Morris, Wayne Shepherd on the fourth, Randall at the back of the field in the 501 machine. We'll see who's going to get the benefit of the doubt. We'll see who is going to be able to, you know, just get the edge here on the rest of the field. And if anyone can improve upon where they've been, what a rising star Joao Suar has been over the last 2 weeks. Finishes last in the first race last week at Bathurst. Goes P2. And right now, he's back where he finished off at Bathurst, P2 on the road at the moment. He looks to have an intense 1v1 with Jack Anderson alongside. De Vries will be hungry for another win. He's the first driver to get a perfect round last week at Bathurst. He got the pole and he got the double win. We'll see if he can go back-to-back. We'll see if he can get another win under his belt and be the first to go 3 wins here in the league. We've only ever had 2-time winners, no 3-time winners as of yet this season. As we await De Vries, Sheaf, Ferguson and Randall to get on the grid here for race number 1. Don't forget, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button, the subscribe and the bell icon. It is going to be one hell of a race here this afternoon at Winton. A nice little preview for those who may be tuning in from SRW to check out what your racing will be like next season. It's going to be a great little contest here and a great little showcase of these legend cars around a legendary Australian circuit out in Benalla in Winton. Jack, I was saying it's a curse, I assume, meaning about De Vries being around older women. He does appreciate the older generations a little bit, you know. We'd have to ask him why he does. Not 100% sure on what it is about, you know, the next generation up from him that he so appreciates. Sheafy has now made the grid. Oh, the double wins. Yeah, I got ya. Sorry, yeah. Ash was saying he feels attacked. Well, if you've got alcohol, Shoz, then you know what the reasonings are. Livingston saying it's the pension as we wait for the lights to go up here for Winton and for an incredible little wrestle of legends races around this circuit. The lights will be going up anytime soon now as we have 8 out of 9 cars on the grid. Lights are going to go up though. We're going to get ready to go racing here. Oh, a bit of a jump start from Crow in the background. That was a big jump. He's going to definitely have a drive-through for sure. And it's green flag running out at Winton. A horrible start from Anderson. Sees him bog it down. Jouassois got off the line absolutely massively here out at Winton. He takes the lead early doors through turn 1. And Anderson and De Vries now look to have a bit of a 1v1 in the background as Sheafy starts to keep putting the pressure on them as well. As the top 4 hope to start to break away. Ferguson, he hasn't been in form ever since we left his ends in the UK of Alton Park where he took his last win. He hasn't been able to get back up onto the top of the field, but Anderson now has eyes forward. He's darted them forward. He sees the back of that Tabasco machine and looks to put the pressure on the Portuguese International leading this race at the moment. Remember, it's a 10-minute heat, 15-minute sprint after, or 10-minute sprint, 15-minute feature, I should say, afterwards. So, you're trying to survive for that 10 minutes if you're at the front of the field. You're just trying to do your best to hold on to whatever you've got. Whatever. All right, so those few seconds before the lights go out, Anderson saying warts heavily. It was a big, heavy wart off the start line for yourself, Ando, as Jouassois leads the way at the moment to Anderson, De Vries, Sheaf, Ferguson, Shepherd, Crow, and Morris. We expect though Crow to have to drive through the pits for his massive jump start off the line as they come down towards the final couple of corners. Anderson already encroaching on the back of the number 7 of Jouassois. Changed his number this week in memory, not in memory, in honour of his hero, his local hero from Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo. So he's running that CR7 number on the Tabasco machine for that, to give support during the Euros for the Portuguese international football team. As Anderson is now putting all that pressure on the back of Pedro Jouassois at the front of the field. De Vries, though, lurking in the background as he does. We know that he sneakily lurks. He eyes his prey and waits to take advantage to be able to sneak in and claim what he feels may be rightfully his, which could be another win. As Anderson now all over Jouassois. A little bit of a touch between them, it seems, through 5. The fast-paced run through 6. Jouassois going to try and cover this off, possibly through 7. Oh, it is intensifying just a little bit here early on in this race. As you can see the running order now. Randell still not out on track just yet. But wow, the battle at the front of the field is just starting to intensify as they are etching closer and closer. And remembering as well, the longer they go on, when Winton's a little bit of a tyre killer, you can overheat the tyres quite easily at this track. And, well, if you're pushing too hard in these things and you lose your tyres, then that could be race over for you. You just got absolutely no grip at all. So they're going to have to be managing those tyres, managing their widths, but also having to defend against other drivers. It can make it so difficult as Jouassois covers the inside line from Anderson as they come through turn 12 up towards the start-finish line now to start lap number 3 as we are 3 minutes into this thing. Oh, they are weaving all over the place. Anderson looks to line up a move, though, down the inside of Jouassois through 1. They're going to go too wide here through the first corner. They're going to try and hold it together as best they can as they come up the hill here. Anderson runs it way wide, clips the wall, and has crashed it out at the start of this race. Anderson has lost it early doors here. He's going to drop to the back of the field. And all of a sudden, it's a battle for the ages. Honour of last race, last week at Bathurst. Joao de Vries now look to have a 1v1 for the win of this one. For a second race in a row at Winton. De Vries looking for his third win in a row at this point. Joao looking for his first in the Legends World Challenge. What a massive moment there, though, for Anderson. Could be big damage on that car. He wanted that battle so badly. Joao, though, held the line. He held on strong. And, you know, Anderson, maybe a little bit overzealous trying to run that outside line. I don't know, but it was a great little battle up to that point. He ran it slightly wide, put it in the wall, but looks to continue on and just looks to garner some good points here as De Vries has been on a massive point skate at the moment, especially against his current rival, Jordan Ferguson. They've been super, super close on points all season. And this, you know, if he's able to finish up the front and have a strong end to this season and Ferguson struggles, he could very easily pip him here towards the end of this championship. So it's not over just yet. The battles are going to continue on. You know, Anderson leads this championship at the moment. If he's finishing, you know, back in both the first races the last 2 weeks and has a bit of a better run in the second, how's that going to pan out for the championship? We'll have to wait and see. Shepard, though, has gone fastest over that last lap. He got a 32.6 out on circuit. As we take a breath and look ahead, as I just noticed actually Pedro Joao had a big wiggle through one. De Vries has now taken the lead. I do apologise as I took a breath there. We'll quickly check this out again and how this occurred between them. So you see there was a big wiggle from Joao. De Vries kept it nice and tidy, snuck it on through. He'll say thank you very much. Yum, yum, I'll take that through. Thank you. As I just noticed as well, Anderson actually spun it back round in the background there and put it back into the wall, so it goes from bad to worse there for the 31. But Aero 404 is now leading the way in the Family Guy machine ahead of Pedro Joao. So very similar to how last week's race ended. We're looking ahead once again to possibly ending the same way as Sheafy is looking for a podium in his own right, but he has got Wayne Shepherd all over the back of him at the moment in the battle for P3 on the road here in race number 1. De Vries saying giggity in the chat. On board now with Sheppo as he looks to keep the pressure on the back of the Betty White machine and try and force his way through. He'd love to get a podium in his first ever race here in the Legends. But Sheafy's been hungry for it in his own right. He feels like he's earned it at this point. You know, he feels like he's worked hard to try and get a win so far. And just hasn't been able to get the chocolates just yet. But, well, he's on right now to get a whole box of Cadbury favourites if he can hold things together. But the top 4, nice and tightly contested here. They are within, well, around about 1.5 seconds, actually, is what separates the top 4. Then a further 2.6 seconds back to Jordan Ferguson in P5 at the moment as they trickle their way through the first couple of corners. Lap 5 of this race, 7 minutes, or just about 6.5 minutes into proceedings. So we get a couple more laps under our belts before we look ahead to race 2 here tonight. But, oh man, it is, what a race it has been. What a season it's been so far. Livingston in the chat saying De Vries' favourite position, leading a bunch of sweaty men and coming first. Livingston. Oh my god. Well, they are attempting to make some positive positions here. Reminds me of a certain sauna. Oh, do not remind me of that. Don't remind me of that one. As De Vries leads the way, but he's still hotly contested here by Pedro Joao in behind him. De Vries saying to arrive first you must arrive. I have arrived. This top 2 battle, they're sitting nice and close here at the moment, not giving anything up. Sheafy, he is driving like his life depends on it at the moment. He does not want to give up this podium if he can help it. He doesn't want to, you know, force anything. He doesn't want to force Sheppo to make a big dive, but I'm hoping here to try and block him off and just hold him off for P3 on the road. It'll be a good chunk of points for him, which he needs, you know, to rise up the ranks through the order here. the championship standings. Shane Randall's finally joined us on track after about 5 or 6 laps. So he's now quite a few laps down on the road, but he will still be getting himself some points as he has gone out on track here in race number 1. We have about a minute and a half left, so I'd say we're probably going to get about one more lap after this one. So it's only about 1.5 laps for De Vries to survive against Joao Suar, 1.5 laps for Sheafy to survive against Sheppo as well for P3 on the road. As he's just trying to find a pathway around him, but can't quite get there. And it's so difficult to do, but it's a big lock up there from Sheppo. Sheafy just slowing him up on the apex. They come round turn 9 up towards turn 10. It's one of the nuances of this track is learning how to how to slow drivers up mid corner, how to hold them off under braking zones, and just doing your best to defend hard. If you can defend well, you can have quite a good result at Winton if you can also make up those positions at the same time. They often say, if you can overtake, you can make positions. The most obvious thing in racing, of course. As they go too wide down the straight, white flag is out. This is the final lap of the race. The point I'm trying to make here is if you can really maximise on your defensive skills, you will do well at Winton. It is one of those tracks that, again, I mentioned, leads to good battles. But defending in a good battle is really, really difficult, especially around a track like this where you rely on the rhythm and you rely on knowing the track state, knowing how to drive it, knowing where you can and can't push around this track. As Sheafy and Shepherd still under immense assault between each other. Joao Suar, De Vries starting to get under assault from each other as well. As De Vries tries to defend. Sheppo tried to get the move done on Sheafy in the background. Locked it up though. Sheafy managed to keep it going. As Ferguson now looks to eye up Wayne Shepherd as well for P4 on the road, and a good chunk of points for him. As we come down towards turn 10 for the final time in race number 1. De Vries has had a nice and clinical running here this afternoon. He took the lead early on after Joao Suar made a mistake through turn 1. He's managed to hold him off here through the proceedings of this race. Round the final couple of corners comes the Aero 404 Family Guy machine of Ash De Vries. He's survived once again, and he's gone on to be the first driver to win 3 races this season. But not only that, 3 race wins in a row for De Vries. He does it again. And what a way to do it. 2 wins out at Bathurst last week, a 3rd here in race number 1. Gets him the trifecta of 3 in a row as they look ahead to the next race now, where De Vries will be starting at the back of the field with Joao Suar next to him. But man, oh man, what a race that was. De Vries did well. Good chunk of points for him in this championship battle against Ferguson and Anderson as well. He'll look ahead to race 2, where he'll try and maximise once again, where I think a couple of drivers are going to the skid pad. So we're going to get some expression session here at the end of the session if they can get it done in time. Although we probably will also get some during the during the other warm-up session as well, where we normally have a bit of an expression session as the burnouts start flying here. Warm-up session to come though, ladies and gentlemen. Nice little 2-minute break for you. So if you need to go do a wee, or you need to go get yourself a drink or a snack, go and do so now, because we're going to have 15 minutes of racing coming up here at this Winton circuit as drivers start to come out for the expression session. Anderson already going for it, as Joao Suar is also going to join them. Morris is out there trying to get a bit of practice in for himself as he backs it into the wall. De Vries saying deploy the Wii. Oh, get that Nintendo out of you, Shoz. Get that Nintendo out of you. As Anderson's going to come straight on through, make a beeline for the skid pad. Joao Suar is going to follow him as well. Makes his way around the medical truck as the expression session begins. has been a bit of a staple here in the Legends to have the burnouts at halftime. And you just get a bit of fun and a bit of expression out of yourself and let it all go. Get the burnouts happening. Burn some tyres, as there is some synchronised donuts here between Joao Suar and Anderson on the skid pad. Good, you know, you love to see it as Morris, Crow, Randall are out there as well, just having cutting a couple laps in the background. But oh, what a race one was, eh? It was nice little contested battles. Just proved what we've been saying about Winton. If you can defend hard, you do well. If you can overtake well, then you can do well. You know, in contrary to that, but when you put them both together, oh, what a battle you get. So, only about 10 seconds left though of the white. We're then going to get into race 2. It'll be a full reverse grid, and drivers will be hoping to benefit themselves for how they did in race 1. Maybe get a bit of betterment about them of how they did in race 1 as well, as the warm-up session has now ended. We'll get into the racing proceedings for race 2 here out at Winton. Where is Bryson DeVries? Where is he, Ashos? You know, where is Bryson? I'm disappointed that he's not here with us, to be honest with you. I was hoping for more. I really, really was. I'm slightly worried that, you know, he's not here with us. Where is he? Ash was saying he's off to locate him. I hope so. This one's going to be an absolute belter. So the grid for race number 2, ladies and gentlemen, will be as follows. It'll be Shane Randall on pole position ahead of Rodney Morris, with Robert Crow in P3, Jack Anderson in P4. It'll then be Jordan Ferguson in P5, Wayne Shepherd in P6, Tyler Sheaf in P7, Pedro Joao Suar in P8, and then at the back of the grid it will be Ash DeVries in P9 on the road. As we just await Jordan Ferguson to get on grid. Hopefully he makes the grid in the second race. He didn't last week, and then he ended up getting back on track later in the proceedings. Put your predictions in. Who do you think is going to win race number 2, ladies and gentlemen? Who do you think could possibly take the round win? Currently leading that race is Ash DeVries, who won the first race here tonight. Jacko saying strategically placed to start better race 2. Not that I'm just shit. Hey, you know what? It's a plan. It's a strat. You know, get that lower position in race 1 to take a bit of a higher position in race 2. You get a little bit, you know, a couple more points in race 2, so why not maximize on those gains? As we just await the flag to drop and for us to go racing here in race 2. Lights are going to go up though in just a moment's time. Randall and Morris on the front row of the grid. We await them to get ready. Lights are up though. Let's go racing at Winton for the feature this afternoon. Who's going to get the jump down towards turn number 1? And we are go for race 2. It was a hell of a start there from Morris, who just pips himself ahead of Randall now down towards turn 1. Crow starts to put some pressure on Edison early on, but he has to back out of it at the last moment. As Joao Suarez had an absolute rocket of a start. He's already up a couple of spots and looks to make a move now on Wayne Shepherd around the outside at turn 3. He's already made up into P6 out of P8 on the grid. As the battles continue on, Shebo runs it wide. Joao Suarez comes on through and he's already up into P5 on the road. Anderson, though, is already up into P2 now on the road, and eyes up Rodney Morris up the road from him here at the front of the field. So there's some fast approaching drivers in the background. There's some fast approaching drivers at the front of the field. Who's going to make the jump and who's going to be able to get the most out of it as they come through turn 7. Morris runs it wide but loses it and then has contact with Anderson in towards the gum tree as Joao Suar, Randall, Shepherd, Ferguson all come through. He's had to get it back on the black stuff. He's now going to have to try and contest with Ferguson, Sheaf and DeVries at the back of the field as Randall, Joao Suar and Shepherd all made their way through and all make their way up towards the top 3. Such a massive moment early on here as Shepard starts to put the pressure now on Joao Soar for P2 on the road. What a start he's had in this race. Randall's done well too to be able to hold on at the front of the field as they come round the final couple of corners now. They're going to go too wide into the final corner. Shepard gets it through on Joao Soar as he's all of a sudden under pressure from Jack Anderson back in behind him once again as they go too wide up towards the first two corners. Could it be a repeat of race number one? Quite possibly not. Shepard locks it up. Joao Soar just sneaks it on through. Has to slot in ahead of Anderson as Pedro now looks ahead to Randall up the road from him as Anderson now looks to try and get this done over Shepard, who could possibly start to get eaten alive here by the rest of the field as they start to pounce on his mistake at turn one. Down through 3 or 4. Anderson's run it wide. He's now going to drop back behind Ferguson and Sheaf at the back of the field. Anderson and De Vries want to try and have a bit of a 1v1, try and make their way through as the pressure's now starting to get surmountable on Tyler Sheaf up ahead of him. So looks to power it round the outside here for P5 on the road. Not quite there just yet. De Vries is now putting the attack back on Anderson as well. Joao Soar, Shepard and Randall still battling at the front as Ferguson's run it wide at the back of the field there down through turn 9. So he now drops down the order. Going to be a big loss of points as Shepard has spun it round in the background. Needs to be careful here as they come on through turn 10. He's now going to drop off the podium in behind Robert Crow as Anderson and Sheaf look to go side by side up towards the last two corners. The battle for P3 continues as De Vries looks to sneak on through as well. Anderson gets the move done. Sneaks it up around the 8 car of Tyler Sheaf as he now looks ahead to the Portuguese international and Pedro Joao Soar and the debutant in Shane Randall at the front of the field at the moment. Joao Soar sets fastest lap of the race last time by a 1:34.1. We expect the times to come down quick and fast here throughout proceedings of this race. As Shepard and Kroll battling in the background as well for P6 on the road here, but eyes are on Jack Anderson at the moment, who's now gotten past De Vries and Sheaf back up into P3 on the road. He looks ahead to this battle for the top 2 positions, Joao Soar and Shane Randall here. I mean, if Pedro were to finish at this place on the road, he would win the round here tonight without winning a race. And you get a good chunk of points of him as well. Livingston in the chat saying, I've driven this track in real life. Got lapped more times than De Vries in a strip club. My God, Matt. My God. As the top 2 battle continues on, Anderson just trying to bridge the gap between him and P2 on the road. Get back within striking distance of a top 2 finish. He hasn't had one since race 1 at Bathurst last week. Just trying to get back up there and get some good points under his belt. At the moment, this would be his worst round of the season, I do believe. As we come through turn 11 up towards turn 12. And everyone's just settling in now for the long run. 4 minutes 45 into proceedings. There's still just about 10 minutes to go, as the battles are continuing to commence in the mid-pack of the field. Everyone, though, they're only separated by around about 2.8 seconds as Rodney Morris is out of this race. Been out since lap 1. So everyone's actually, they're separated by around about 5 odd seconds. They've done well to keep everything in check and keep the battles happening. Really quite impressed as De Vries gets a move done on Tyler Sheaf. That moves him up into P4 on the road, but Sheaf now looking to put him back under pressure here in this race this afternoon. There's the Aero 404 machine. If he were to get P3, he would equal Pedro Joao Soar on points for the round, but he'd win the round on countback since he has actually won a race here this afternoon. If they were to finish 1-2, but reverse, so if Pedro were to finish P1, De Vries were to finish P2, Pedro would win it on countback because he had the higher qualifying position. As Anderson is now starting to break away from that battle of De Vries and Sheaf, looks ahead to Joao Soar and Randall at the front of the field. Bryson in the chat saying, Bryson just having a quick check-in, boy has work soon. Well, you know, I think Legends World Challenge is a little bit more important than working, Bryson, if you ask me. As these battles are just starting to intensify. We've only, it's 10 minutes. 10 more minutes of racing, Bryce, and surely you just got to tune in for the 10 minutes of racing as Anderson starts to catch up now to the back of Girard and Randall. Gaps now underneath a second. The top of the field as Randall ran a little bit wide. A little bit of a door knock between them. Anderson looks to get involved as well as they come down towards turn 3. All of a sudden it's now a three-way dance. Lock up from Girard. A bit of contact with Anderson. They continue on as they were. Needs to be careful of the rejoin as they come through turn 4 now. De Vries is now in on the action as well. And we settle in once again for the next 8 minutes of racing here as Anderson will be trying to get past De Vries as fast as possible to catch back up to Pedro Zuausuar in P2 on the road. Looks to sneak it up the inside of De Vries. Can't quite get it there though. Sheafy now looks to get back involved. Sheppo's there too as well as Crow. So we've got a nice little 5-way battle here. A little fatal 5-way action from P3 down to P7. As Ferguson started to drop off the back of the field. He's really struggling at this Winton circuit. This for sure would be his worst round of the season. Would be likely his drop round this season, although he has missed a round. As they come through turn 10 and look ahead up towards the front of the field. So battles are still continuing on. And if we're continuing on this trajectory, we could be on for one hell of an end here to this round out at Winton. Sheafy in the chat giving himself some love, saying let's go Sheafy. As they come around turn 12. It's so good to see battles like this getting commenced and having the whole field pretty much separated by only a couple of seconds. I mean, there's no real outliers out there on track. As they come up through turn 2. De Vries is looking ahead now to Girard in P2 on the road at the moment. He's got Randall who's holding him off, as a security guard does to drunk patrons at a nightclub. Although De Vries may have something to say about that. He might try and kick the door in himself, or just say, oh no, it is tonight. I will get let in, thank you very much. But if it works out a little bit better than when he was positioned out at the smokers, of course. But Girard, Randall having a nice tight battle at the front of the field. De Vries and Anderson, they're trying to work together here to get back up on the back end of the number 7 Tabasco machine and onto the back of the 501 of Randall as well. So the trajectory we're on right now, we could be on for one hell of an end to this race. There's going to be 6 minutes to go now in this one. Probably only around about 4 or 5 laps available to us here. And any one of these guys can win it. Any one of these guys can lose it as well. These battles are quite interesting. De Vries saying FYI, De Vries had hardware issues for Forge race. Wheel disconnecting from the base, loss of force feedback and even loss of gear selection. I agree with Jackals, it's excuses. You should be doing better as the top 4 are now separated by less than a second on the road here tonight. The battle looks ahead here for the final 5 minutes of the race as they try and keep themselves cool, calm, collected, whilst also trying to stay contested as well. A little bit of a slide there for Randall on exit. Anderson is looking like a hungry piranha right now, and it sees its prey in the waters ahead of him. Ashaw's trying to get another win, trying to go 2 for 2 here in double up wins, 2 rounds in a row. Bryson saying too much gear, no idea. Sheafy saying that's what they all say. Everyone is piping up at the moment. A little bit of a lock there from the front couple of cars as Anderson looks to get the move done on De Vries in through turn 7 and 8 at the Gumtree. Tries to get it done round the outside, does the job, and now looks ahead to put the pressure back onto Pedro Girard and Shane Randall at the front of the field. It's a nice little arm wrestle. They're swapping and changing positions all over the track at the moment as they come through turn 10. Looking off the back now of Shane Randall's car on that intensifying battle of Girard, Anderson and De Vries. As Anderson trying to get a move done here on Pedro. Covers the inside line once again at the second to last corner. Anderson wants to switch back, not quite there just yet. And down through the final corner. Is he going to try and go too wide into turn 1 once again like last race? We know how it ended up for him. Girard is going to look to cover that inside line quite possibly. No, moves back to the regular racing line. Oh, he's trying to edge the nose through. Can't quite get there, though, as they come through turn 1 and turn 2. And Anderson right now, he's got major pressure on Jouasua. They go too wide through turn 3. They somehow survive it. The battle's on here. De Vries is looking to get involved as well. Randall's trying to run away from it. And Sheafy's looking to pick up the crumb if any of these guys have it coming together up ahead of him. As around through turn 5 they come now. Anderson is trying to find which way or the other. Just a laneway to make his way through. Big hop off the curb leads to a big slide through turn 6 into 7. They try and go too wide around the outside. Can't quite get there. Pedro Jouasua is able to hold him off just for the moment as they come round turn 8 up towards turn 9. Randall here's looking for a bit of a lifeline, and Anderson's bringing it to him right now as he's now able to bridge that gap. He's able to build it out to just over a second. Jouasua is going to get a move on here if he hopes to build this back and really put a challenge in for the win once again. It would be all for nothing if he would have let Anderson go and let him run off and take Randall's position for him. As we settle in once again, 2.5 minutes just about to go in this race. Not long to go at all. Only a couple of laps left in this one. As we come around the second to last corner to turn 12, they'll cross the line. There'll be 2 laps left here for anyone to get anything done in this race. Top 5 are separated by barely anything at the moment. They're separated by just about 2 seconds. And Jouasua and Anderson look to go too wide once again through 1. He tucks the nose. Can he get it done here? Oh, Jouasua holds the line well. They come through. They survive once again. And the battle is continuing on. They're trying to build the gap. They're trying to build the gap back to De Vries. They're trying to close the gap up to Randall. But they can't really find anything. They can't really find any opportunities, any laneways, any opportunities to get this done at this point in the race. We're going to have 1 lap to go when we cross the line. There's only going to be 1 lap, 1 more opportunity for these drivers to pull anything out that they can, pull any tricks out of the magic hat that they can, the rabbit out of the hat. Whatever it may be, they're going to have to try and do it as soon as possible, and it's going to be hard. They're going to have to push for it. They're going to have to kick the door down if they hope to get anything out of this right now. Round turn 9 they come. Jouasua has actually been able to close the gap now up to Randall at the front of the field over that last lap, so he is actually catching him at the moment, but he has got a fast approaching Jack Anderson in behind him right now. De Vries and Sheaf, they're in behind him as well. Hey, blocking is racing if you do it within the rules. Block is super effective as they continue on up towards the last couple of corners now. We've got 60 seconds left. It'll be 1 more lap for them to get it done. Half a second is the gap between P1 and P2. Anderson's not too far behind Jouasua. De Vries is not too far behind, neither is Sheafy. They cross the line, white flag lap. And it's going to be a top 5 battle for the ages here on the last lap at Winton. Randall leads the way. Jouasua P2, Anderson P3, De Vries P4, Sheaf P5. They're separated by absolutely nothing. Shepard's put it in the wall in the background, but we can't concentrate on that right now. Top 5 are in highly contested waters as Anderson's putting all sorts of pressure on Pedro up ahead of him. Randall's trying to survive at the moment as they come down towards turn 5. De Vries can smell blood. He can smell blood in the water. He can smell an opportunity. Sheafy's trying to grab the brass ring if he can. He's trying to get as close as possible as they come round the turn 6. Here comes Jouasua round the outside of Randall. Lines up the inside line for turn 8. Round the Gumtree they come. There's been a change to the lead, but they're still too wide up through turn 9 right now. Randall's not giving anything up for his first win. Jouasua's been looking for it for 2 weeks. Anderson and De Vries are trying to catch anything that they can, pick up any crumb that they can. Anderson looking for a wider run, possibly for a bit of a switchback. Oh, Jouasua tucks up the inside, takes the lead through turn 10, blocks the lane for Anderson. He's blocked the lane for Anderson to try and get the run through the corner and make some gains. Up towards turn 11 now. Jouasua leads the way. Anderson in behind him. They come up through the final corner. There's been a slight touch between them. Pedro Jouasua is going to be the survivor. He's going to be the one to get it across the line, but look at this. 3-way drag race to the line for P3. De Vries gets it done at the last moment. What a run to the line for the top 5 there. 0.8 of a second separated them to the line from P1 back to P5 in Tyler Sheaf. P3 to P5 were separated by 0.04 of a second across the line. There was absolutely nothing in it at the end of that one. An intensifying end to an intense race. The pressure was absolutely palpable, and you cannot deny that. The top 5 battle towards the end of that race, Randall had led it for the majority of the way. Joao Soa managed to just sneak his way through in the dying embers of this one. It was an unbelievable performance from him. It was an unbelievable performance from Randall on debut to get a podium. De Vries did well to get some good points. Anderson tried his best. Sheafy, what a great running from him. As the burnouts will start to happen in just a moment's time here, ladies and gentlemen. Unbelievable stuff. We'll take a breath. We'll check out our feature results, provisional as they are for this race. It was Pedro Joao Soa in P1 on the road here tonight. Shane Randall finished out of P2 ahead of Ash De Vries in P3. Then there's Jack Anderson in P4, Tyler Sheaf in P5. Look at the time difference between that top 5, 0.8 of a second. Separated the top 5 to the line. De Vries, Anderson and Sheaf were separated by around about, I want to say, 0.016 of a second. There was nothing in it. Absolutely nothing in it. We will get a picture up of that across the line, Shoz, I promise you. We will get that up. In behind them then was Robert Crowe, Jordan Ferguson, Wayne Shepherd and Rodney Morris makes up the running order for this race. Oh. We will drag in our race winner now in Pedro Joao Soa, and we will have a chat to him about his performances here this afternoon. Someone sent me a message. Anderson sent me a photo. I believe it's the photo. Thank you, Jack Oz. I will get that up, and we'll show everyone what the finish looked like. Oh, take a breath for a second here. Sorry, that was an exceptional end to that race. It was unbelievable. Before we drag in our winner in Pedro Joao Soa, we will get the image up of the finish between 3rd, 4th and 5th here this afternoon. Where'd it go? We'll get this up and running. There we go. This was the finish between them. That was how close they finished, ladies and gentlemen, on the line. That was P3 back to P5. Absolutely incredible stuff between them. Round of applause. What a race. That was race of the season, for sure. That was absolutely astonishing between them. What we will do, though, is we will drag in our winner here tonight in Pedro Joao Soa, and we will see what he has to say about that one. Pedro Joao Soa, great running out there today, mate, here at Winton. A tough battle in both races for you, but a second on the road in race 1 and a win in the second gets you the round win. What was it like finally getting a win here in Australia after making the trip over from Portugal?
Foi bom. Conduzi, foi muito dificulte, mas eu ganhei por Portugal e for Wakanda. E tinha que conduzir e pagar muita atenção, mas foi bom.
How was it being in such a tough battle in race 1? Obviously, you got the lead and then lost it after a mistake at turn 1 to Ash De Vries. What was going through your head once you lost that lead and then trying to fight back for it and just not being able to get there in the end?
Eu tinha que conduzir para ganhar, mas eu não queria partir o meu carro e, claro, eu tinha que conduzir numa maneira que eu não crash into everything e depois eu conduzi e não fez alguma coisa muito mal, mas foi bom. It was chill, bro.
Well, we obviously last week Bathurst race 2, you had the second place. You backed that up race 1 with another second, and then you finally went one better in race 2 tonight with the win. The battle on hand with that, those final couple of laps there, with the top 5 being separated by just a second. You were trying to chase that lead down to Shane Randall. You finally got by him on the last lap, and then you were just trying to defend as hard as possible to get to, keep the win pretty much under major pressure. What was it like dealing with that pressure, trying not to crack under it, but then also just trying to, get onto that top step for the first time?
Eu estava a pensar que eu tinha que fazer tudo o que eu podia para conduzir numa maneira boa e eu não podia fazer o crack under pressure, mas eu estava a fazer as coisas que eu treinei e o meu carro foi bom e foi uma boa corrida.
Well, Pedro, it's so good to finally talk to you. So good to finally have you in the booth. Massive congratulations on all your success so far in these last 2 races. Obviously, 3 podiums for you now, 2 round overall podiums, including a round win as well. Let us know who helps get you out on track. Anyone else you'd like to give a shout out to as well? And for myself and the rest of the league, congratulations on your first round win of the season.
Ok, eu gostava de dar shout out to Welsh Energia. Foi uma boa coisa que eu usei para fazer a corrida hoje e eu gostei muito da corrida. Eu tinha que fazer muitas coisas e eu não podia crash into things hoje. Foi uma boa corrida.
Well, obrigado, Pedro. Best of luck next week out at Long Beach in the concrete jungle. We'll see how you go. Thank you so much for joining me here this afternoon, and I look forward to seeing how you progress throughout the final couple of races.
Sim, eu tenho que fazer as coisas para fazer progress hoje e in the future eu vou fazer muito treinar para conduzir.
Very good, mate. Well, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. So good there to speak to Pedro Joao, of course, the winner of this afternoon's race and round, ladies and gentlemen. But this will bring an end to our broadcast here this afternoon for round number 6 of season 1 here of the Legends World Challenge. We so appreciate your time. We so appreciate you being here with us once again. If you guys haven't already, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and the bell icon as well, so you are notified anytime we go racing here on Infinity Broadcasting. If you guys want to be involved in next season's running, then be sure to head to www.simracingworld.com.au. That's www.simracingworld.com.au. Register as a driver, get into the SRW Discord, and sign up next season. It's a free season starting on July 19th will be round 1 of season 2 over in SRW. But I've been Hamish Munro. This has been the Legends World Challenge. We so appreciate your time, ladies and gentlemen. We so appreciate you being here with us once again. We'll see you guys next week for round number 7 out at the concrete jungle in Long Beach. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Legends World Challenge.